I'm a 911 operator and some of our calls are strange. You might be wondering why anyone would choose to work on the police force when the fatality rate is fairly high. Well, it's pretty much all due to money. If you make it through your probationary period, you'll be making around $200,000 a year when you add in all the benefits and allowances. And to be clear, most officers make it to retirement. It's not like it's a death sentence to work at Greenbrier PD. Unfortunately, I got carried away reading your comments and arrived to work at 6:01 p.m. As I walked in the door to release Andy from day shift, he gave me a look that told me all I needed to know. My absence had been noted. Andy shot me a sympathetic look as he passed by me. Clearly, he didn't want to stick around any longer than he had to. Night Supervisor Jordan called out from his office, "Kylie, come here." With a sigh, I dropped my things on my desk and made my way to the tiny closet Jordan used as an office. "Hey Jordan, what's up? Tardiness is not tolerated. Consider this your first verbal warning. Next time, I will have to write you up." "Seriously? I've been showing up 10 minutes early for months. I was 1 minute past and you're gonna hold that against me?" Jordan's deadpan look held no leniency. "Kylie, why would having done the minimum required to maintain employment excuse you from discipline?" I felt my face turn red. Jordan didn't seem to notice or care. Thankfully, the phone rang before I could let the angry retort building up inside me spill out. Jordan did a little shooing motion with his hands before turning back to his monitor. I slammed my headset on. Taking a deep breath, I turned on my customer service voice. "This Greenbrier 911, how may I assist you?" A female voice replied, young, college age maybe. "Hi. So I'm not sure if this is the right line to call, but the PSAs all say to report anything weird." Her voice trailed off. "Okay, let's start with your name and what's going on." I could hear her humming nervously. "Okay, I don't really want to get involved. I'm pretty new here and don't need to make a bad impression, you know? So there's this dude on the street and he's naked. Totally bare-ass dangling naked. And I am all for letting people live how they want, but there's kids on this road and they don't need that. All calls are anonymous," I assured her. "But if you don't want to give your name, that's all right. Can I get a location though?" "At the very least, a crossroad." The girl answered, "Oh yeah, sure, of course." So he's doing a cartwheel, which is actually kind of impressive. "But yeah, he's going north on Prometheus towards Fern Street." I sent dispatch a message and they replied that they had officers in the area. Before I could get any more information, the caller hung up. I tuned my second headset to the police channel, sure that this would be an interesting encounter. "Officer 1, dispatch, show us as on site, please." "Dispatch, roger that. Let me know if you need assistance." "Officer 1, come on. Why's he have to be naked?" "Officer 2, if they have to be naked, can't they at least be hot?" "Officer 1, come again." "Officer 2, if I have to tackle a naked person, I would prefer it to be an attractive naked person, not a fat, sweaty guy." "Officer 1, so you want to wrestle hot dudes?" "Officer 2, what? No. But if I have to wrestle someone, I would prefer it be a good-looking person." "Officer 1, you need a girlfriend or Jesus?" "Probably both." "Officer 2, shut up. Let's just get this guy off the street. Why is he so sweaty?" "Officer 2, oh shit, did you see that? That was a perfect backflip." "Officer 1, you worry me sometimes." Hey, Greenbrier PD. Hold still, sir." "Officer 2, sir, you are naked on a public street. Let's get you somewhere private so you can explain what's going on. Do you live on this street?" "Officer 1, hey, no handstands. Stop that. Do not approach us in that manner, sir." "Officer 2, sir, if you do not comply," stifled laughter, "sir, don't make me tase your dingleberries." "Officer 1, damn it, Connor, can please behave?" I jump as an explosion rips through the headset. I frantically tune back in my free hand on the radio to dispatch. "Officer 1, the fuck was that? Connor, are you good?" "Officer 2, yeah, I mean not emotionally but physically I'm fine. Did he really just pop?" "Officer 1, like a motherfucking balloon." At that point, they called in EMTs and detectives. Despite a thorough investigation, they never found a DNA match for the naked man, nor did they find any explosives residue. I think Jordan was attempting to give me a cold shoulder as a punishment for being late. Honestly, I enjoyed the lack of interaction between us, at least until the next call came in. Greenbrier 911, what's your emergency? The clock read 5:05 a.m. Another hour and I would have been clocked out. Hi, there's this creep walking around my backyard. Could I get someone out here to chase him off or take him to jail? Yes, ma'am, of course. She gave me her address and I sent a message to dispatch. Okay, ma'am, the police have been notified. Could I get a name and any details while we wait for them to arrive? The woman was surprisingly calm. She sounded more annoyed than scared that there was a stranger in her yard. I'm Adeline Joy. The motion lights woke me up. I don't have to be up for another hour, so I tried to go back to sleep, but then this white-faced creep started tapping on my window. I was going to ignore him, but he was tapping so hard I was worried the window would break, and I really didn't have time to deal with that. Are you saying he's Caucasian? Adeline laughed. No, my dear. Well, probably, but that's not what I meant. His skin is as white as paper. Maybe it's makeup, maybe a birth defect, who knows? That was an interesting detail. I forwarded it to the officer en route. As I was saying, I didn't want him to break the glass, so I yelled at him. He just smiled like an idiot and dangled a shitty-looking knife like it was a clock pendulum. Hold up, I interrupted. He's armed? You probably should have led with that part. Adeline scoffed at the idea. It's just a little kitchen knife. It's not like... The line went quiet. Adeline yelled out angrily. You dumbass Heath Ledger-looking wank stain. What happened? Adeline, are you okay? Don't worry, I'm okay. He got in the house somehow. When I saw him, he threw that damn knife and stabbed me in the shoulder. Where are those cops? I updated dispatch and they let me know 10 minutes out. Hang on, Adeline, officers are just a few minutes out. Well, that's nice to know. Tell them to bring a body bag. I'm going to blow that asshole's head off. Adeline, please stay inside, preferably in a secure room. She laughed. Not going to happen. He ruined my nightgown. I just got him with his own knife. The line went dead. Adeline? Adeline. I threw my headset onto my desk in frustration. The police arrived 2 minutes later. They found the house empty but ransacked. Broken furniture littered the floor along with numerous broken items. Adeline Joy Whitaker is officially missing at this point. Thanks to her security camera, we have a decent picture of the man in her yard. She was right about his face. It was so white it nearly glowed. His eyes looked bloodshot and open unnaturally wide. He had weird scarring on his cheeks and was thin. Definitely a poor way to end my shift. The next day, an hour before my shift, Jordan texted me. Kylie, please be ready to clock in by 6 p.m. Jordan, who signs their name at the bottom of a text. I don't even do that for emails. Anyways, I made sure I wasn't late. I parked my cruiser in its usual spot and made my way in. Day shift looked exhausted, and judging by the amount of call logs stacked on Jordan's desk, it had been a crazy day. I made it nearly to midnight before the first call came in. The voice was soft, and I mistakenly thought it was a child at first. Hello? I need some assistance. Greenbrier 911. What is the nature of your situation? My bitch-ass wife locked me out of the house. That line of dialogue coming from such a soft, innocent-sounding voice stupefied me for a moment. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you? Is this a domestic issue? Jordan leaned out of his office, shooting me an inquisitive look. My half of the conversation definitely sounded a bit weird. I tapped my headset and he tapped into the call. Just as he did, the soft little voice replied, Like a domestic assault? Of course not. I'm locked out. Once I get in, that could change though. Jordan's shocked face caused me to snort ever so slightly, but it was enough for the caller to hear. Oh, you think that's funny, do ya? Yeah, you must be real tough. I quickly backpedaled. It was just a sneeze sit. It's allergy season. Like hell. You know something, Missy? I don't even want in my house. I'm gonna come down there and teach you some respect. Do you hear me? He hung up. I know I should have been worried, but that little voice was hard to take serious. Regardless, we put in a call to the police station and explained what happened. They told us they would have a couple cars drive by throughout the night. It didn't do much good. 2 hours later, I heard a thud in the bathroom. I looked over to confirm Jordan was in his office. He must have felt my gaze because he looked up from the mountain of paperwork and frowned at me. I turned back to my game of solitaire. Less than a minute later, the bathroom door crashed open. I jumped to my feet and looked in that direction. The hallway was empty. Well, empty save for a little brown teddy bear with a stick on his back. I stared at it for a while, confused as to how it got there. A scream escaped me as the bear's head turned to look at me. "What's the matter, doll? I told you I was coming over." The teddy grabbed what I had thought was a stick. It turned out to be the handle of knife from a 90s Outback steakhouse. "Now how about some damn customer service?" said the bear in that soft childlike voice. I jumped onto my desk as he angrily waddled towards me. He did the cutest little hops while swinging the knife in an attempt to eat me. I just couldn't get myself to take him seriously. Next, he tried to climb the desk, but his fuzzy little paws couldn't get any grip. He threw the knife onto the ground and fists raised, he growled up at me. Right then, Jordan came around the corner and punted the teddy bear across the room. He barely made a noise as he collided with the far wall and then the floor. Hands on his hips, the teddy bear scowled at Jordan. "Why don't you come down here and fight me like man?" The bear then raised his paws in a classic boxer stance. Jordan wasn't having any of it. He grabbed an empty file box and strode over to the bear, who instantly attempted to turn and run. His stubby legs failed him and Jordan scooped him into the box and taped it shut. "All right, let's get back on track. Kylie, monitor the phones while I put this outside for the police to handle." So that was my night. Still not as hectic as day shift's raccoon fiasco, but busy enough for me.